Podcast time.
You do a good impression of that. You sound like them.
Thank you.
So this was episode 3, season 1 of Jersey Shore.
Yep.
What are your impressions?
It was kind of a vanilla episode. We're kind of introduced to the more, just like they're very prevalent issues, but they're also such non-issues. I don't know, just kind of like thematic stuff for the whole show where it's like Angelina being the worst and like Ronnie and Sam like both being in the wrong, but like only being able to see how the other has wronged them.
And then Mike starting drama for no real reason.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a meh episode, but it does set some kind of thematic things in place.
Yeah.
Which the writers definitely intended.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's not like crazy fights or crazy hookups this episode. It's just kind of a lot of talking, a lot of standing around, you know. Yeah, so how do we just recap what happened this episode? So we got JWoww and her boyfriend and that situation where she cheated on him with Polly. But
she also, like, just made up, like, I don't know, if you just make out with someone...
Well, it did go a little further than that.
I guess, but I don't know, I feel like JWoww is a very, like, truthful person, and like, she doesn't, like, remember it happening, really.
Yeah,
So the fact that she, like, owned up to it, and he was still, like, never talked to me again.
My whole thing with that is that I feel as though my judgment, my knowledge of, like, her boyfriend and, like, what I know about JWoww is definitely coloring it, because I like JWoww. She's, I think, like, one of my favorite people on the show.
Yeah.
Because I think she is a little bit, she's a lot more mature than the rest of the cast. I feel like she's, like, pretty direct, and, like, is able to deal with things in, like, in a mature way.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like, yeah, you shouldn't cheat on your boyfriend, and she did wait, you know, I feel a little long to tell him, you know what I mean? Because she didn't tell him when he was actually at the house. She told him once he left. Which... Yeah,
that is a little...
I get that, because you're not going to want to tell someone and then they're still, like, staying at your house. Like, that's awkward. I get that. But I don't know. It's just... I think she ultimately does the right thing, which is, you know, why I end up liking JWoww. Because I wouldn't like someone who cheats on their boyfriend and lies about it. But I don't think she's 100% in the right either.
No. She's not. I really like her as a person because of all that I don't know, all the stuff that I've seen. And so, like, and also because Tom, doesn't she get back with Tom and then he ends up being, like, really annoying?
Yeah, exactly. So there's things about him and that relationship you find out later that really are, like, I'm watching it now, like, good, like, go girl, like, cheat on your boyfriend, but obviously, you know, that's not a right thing to do.
No, it's not. I like
also
JWoww and I don't like Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Cheat on him as much as you like, especially with Polly.
Yeah, because I feel like, because also in previous episodes, he was like, yeah, like, we genuinely have chemistry, and we have, like, a really good time together.
I love the line Polly has in this episode where he says, oh, you know, I'm glad that she broke, like, her and her she told her boyfriend they broke up, because now, like...
She won't feel bad when she hooks up with me.
Because I feel like if Mike had said that, like, he would have done it with, like, a little, like, wink and a little, like, haha, like, it's, like, a sleazy thing. But with Polly, it's just, like, he has this, like, childish whimsy to him. And he's like, yeah, like, I'm glad, you know, she feels good. Like, he's not really thinking about the other side of it of, like, you've caused this relationship to end. Yeah. Which is, it's, you know, that's one of the things I like about Polly, is that he's not a malicious person. He's not sleazy in that way, even though he does, you know, hook up with girls.
Yeah, there are situations where he does seem to be a little too focused on being chill.
Yeah.
Where he, like, doesn't like to take sides, even when, like, one side is, like, definitely more right than the other.
Yeah, but...
And that's the kind of stuff I don't vibe with about him, but he could be a lot worse.
Yeah. I kind of understand that, where, like, when you're all living together and you want to, like, keep the peace. Like, it's good to have someone like Polly in the house who's, like, not really gonna encourage fighting or anything like that. But
Yeah.
I also, sometimes right is right and wrong is wrong, and you have to make a stand.
Especially with, like, bro stuff, like, I feel like he's definitely very, very bro code.
Pro,
so even if, like, the girl is in the right, he'll, like, choose the guy's side.
Yeah,
which I
totally.
don't love.
Yeah. But I think all the guys kind of do that, unfortunately.
Yeah,
like, as much as
they literally say, like, bro code.
Bro code. Yeah, as much as my heart is full for Vinny, and I love Vinny, and, he's great, he does do it. Like,
yeah.
He does totally, so I think there is that definitely kind of that bro thing.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate, because especially when it's, like, it comes to, like, interpersonal relationships and whatever, it's like, shouldn't you be valuing the person you're in a romantic relationship, your girlfriend, over, like, your boys, you know what I mean? Or, like, it's unfortunate, and it's, like, I think having, like, close friendships with other men is, like, really important, but at the same time, it's, like, I don't know, there's misogynistic undertones to it.
Yeah, definitely. Because the stuff that we see later with Dina, where she, like, pulls all the kind of stuff that Mike would pull, but, like, they always end up being friends with Mike again.
Yeah.
No matter what he does, but as soon as Dina does something, they're like, oh, that's not cool. Like, you're not one of the bros anymore.
Yeah, or even with, like, Ronnie. Like, Ronnie does some really cruddy stuff to Sam later on in the series. And then they're just like, well, bro code, so, whatever. But I don't want to get into, like, spoiler territory. So JWoww and Polly, that situation kind of gets sorted.
Yeah.
Ronnie and Sam, kind of their relationship continues.
And we start to see some of the undertones.
The really problems, yeah. And then Mike continues to try to, like, break them apart, but again, it's Mike.
Yeah.
And he's not as, like, slick as he thinks he is.
Like, walking around the room with his shirt off, he thinks that, like, Sam is gonna be like, goo goo gaga, I'm so distracted by these abs that I'm gonna break up with my boyfriend.
Goo goo gaga?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and he's, like, saying to her, like,
you look so pretty, Sam.
You look so pretty, Sam, but also he's like, yeah, there's, like, these 2 girls in the hot tub, and they say they want me to join them, but, like, I don't know. And she's, like, looking at herself in the mirror.
And she's like, yeah, great.
She's like, yeah, whatever, I'm just, we're gonna play mini golf. Like, she's, like, totally not into it, which is super funny. So that kind of situation, and we know where it goes, obviously, because we've seen the show before, but I think I said this analogy to you before, but they're just kind of the James and the Donna of this whole show. I'm referring to Twin Peaks. Of just, like, because of, like, how it's edited and how, like, the framing of it all, they, like, want Mike and Sam to be, like, the couple you root for.
Ronnie and Sam,
Ronnie and Sam to be the couple you root for. But, like, neither of them is interesting enough for me to really, like, care. Like...
Yeah.
And I also had this interesting question. I want to see what you think of this.
Okay.
So, what the whole, like, Ron, Sam, Mike situation has been, like, framed as before is, like, Sam was interested in Mike, it was mutual, but then she just kind of randomly decided she liked Ronnie, right?
Yeah.
But then you hear them in interviews, and Sam will be like, oh, from the beginning it was always Ron. Or, like, I think Ron maybe said, oh, from the beginning it was always Sam.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering if, like, it was edited down. Like, if Ronnie and Sam had some stuff going on the side, but the producers maybe thought it was, like, a more interesting narrative. If there's, like, this betrayal aspect of, oh, like... Sammy, like, chooses one guy over the other. Like, I wonder if some stuff was taken out in order to, like, further kind of emphasize that.
I could see that.
Because it does seem really sudden, like, her jump from, like, Mike to Ron. So I think that's my working theory. Obviously, like, we're never gonna know, but...
And I think also, like, say what you will about Sam, but she generally has a pretty good litmus for, like, vibes. And I think she realized that, like, Mike wasn't, like... He was just looking to, like, get her to like him.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't want to actually, like, date her.
Yeah.
And... like, recognize that it was just, like, more of, like, a game.
Yeah.
To him, which it, like, still continues to be, and he feels like he's, like, in this position of, like, loser because, like, Ronnie, like, won her from him.
But it's just, no, I think she
was
just,
like,
attracted to
caught
him.
a vibe. Because also, like, his downfall was that he played it too cool,
mm-hmm.
and he thought that, like, there was no question that they were gonna hook up, like, his, like, I feel like he has, a quote where he's like, yeah, it's not a question of, like, when, like, if, it's a question of when. But because he was so cocky about it, that was his downfall, because he like, played his cards too close to his chest, never actually revealed, like, I can't tell if he actually had feelings for her or not, or whether it was just like, oh, I need to be the alpha getting the girl.
Yeah, and I also, just because, obviously, we've seen the rest of the series, so sorry for first-time viewers, but, like, for the rest of the series, Sam is pretty, monogamous with Ron. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like she's the type of person, like, to be that fixated on someone, I feel like that's, like, an immediate attraction. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, for the rest of the series, she's hung up on Ron.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just weird for her to be, like, really into Mike, and then she just suddenly, like, switches, and then she's into Ron.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If she's, like, that attracted to him, if she's that whatever to him,
yeah,
like, why is she into Mike first and then she changes? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's, I think this is, like, the new, like, Stanley Kubrick, like, moon landing theory. I think the producers of Jersey Shore cut out early scenes of Ron and Sammy flirting to create this false narrative.
Yeah, because I feel like, and they also, like, leave in little things where she's like, oh yeah, I think Ron is attractive. Ron is like, oh yeah, Sam, like, she's, like, my type.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite come out of nowhere, but, like, in terms of, like, because, like, she was, like, holding hands with Mike and stuff.
They were holding hands.
Yeah.
I'm like the Guido Alex Jones. I got my conspiracies.
We're making the Snooki gay.
I don't think she needs help with that.
No, yeah, she makes that with Ryder in this episode. She's like, I just felt like making out with someone.
That's, what a weird time in our culture. We're like, gay marriage, no, but...
Girls making out?
Yes. Also, Angelina leaves this episode. So, okay, one thing I was confused, what fight does she get into with her boyfriend at the club? Because I could not tell.
So, they talk a little bit on the phone about how he doesn't feel really close to her anymore because she doesn't, like, they don't see each other.
And so he's also married. Well, he's getting divorced.
He's getting divorced.
So that's kind of...
Yeah. I kind of got the vibe that she just, like, wasn't talking to him anymore. And so he, like, comes to the club and sees her and he's like, yeah, this isn't worth it for me. Because, like, I'm going through a divorce right now and my girlfriend, like, will make the effort to hang out with me in person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Also, they'd only been dating for 3 months, and for some reason in her head, that is reason enough to shirk your responsibilities at the job and leave the shore house over a guy you've been dating for 3 months. That night of the breakup, you were like, oh, like, I don't care about him, I don't care what he thinks. But next morning, she's like, oh, I'm so broken up over him, like, everyone just leave me alone.
I really dislike that type of personality, like the people who are just like, oh, I don't care, so it doesn't matter, but they're clearly upset.
Yeah.
I don't like that type of personality, because it's like, if you're upset, you're upset. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, just it's...
I feel like for her, it was more like the ego hit of, like, someone breaking up with her. I don't think it was the fact that, like, she really liked him. I think it was more like, oh, he broke up with me, I should have broken up with him first.
Yeah, exactly. But it's... Yeah, and I think it's Angelina always wants to appear very, like, strong, and she always wants to, like, appear very, like, desirable, so I think that definitely, like, works against, like, what image she's trying to, like, portray of herself.
Yeah, and you recognize very quickly that it just comes from a place of deep insecurity.
Exactly. And I don't understand, like, her... attitude towards the work of just like, oh, I don't want to go to work, so I'm just not gonna do it. Like, that's, I don't know how you can operate, like, as an adult in this world with that attitude. No. I mean, obviously, it's a different situation. She's probably thinking, like, oh, I don't really have to work because I'm on a reality TV show, and
that's what I'm actually getting paid for.
So, I kind of get that. Like, maybe she wouldn't act like that if it was, like, a real job or in different circumstances.
Maybe.
But
at the same time, like, this is being televised. So, like, every time you, like, do this, like, everyone's gonna know.
Yeah. Also, just, like, I don't know. It was so bizarre for her to show up and just be like, oh, I didn't want to come to work today, so I'm just not gonna, like, you don't even come up with, like, a fake excuse.
Yeah, and then she started spitting out these, like, just, like, everything, like, the first thing that came to mind, like, oh, I didn't have the number for the place, or, like, I was sick, or, like, oh, I had, like, a really big problem with my boyfriend last night.
I love it when he's like, well, you could have walked down and told me, and she's like, oh, be realistic.
Yeah, she's like, it was a courtesy for me to come down here at all. It's like, was it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you know, if I got into a big fight with my boyfriend like that, I wouldn't want to go into work the next morning either.
No, but you at least tell someone because she didn't come in, like, Vinny had to do all the work because they were short-staffed.
Exactly. Like,
you can just find someone to replace you. Vinny found someone to replace him, like, right away when he got pink eye.
When he got pink eye, exactly.
He didn't go into work, but he also, like, did his job.
Yeah, no, it's, I mean, obviously, or at least, like, not even, just at least have the decency to lie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, at least just be like, oh, hey, Danny, like, I'm really sick. Like, I can't, like, don't just straight up be like, oh, I don't want to go to work, so
and then
I'm
he
not
comes to the house to try to have, like, a conversation with her, and she just holes up in the bathroom so that he can't talk to her.
Oh, God. That's rough.
Yeah.
If I were Danny, I would have, like, totally lost it.
Yeah.
And
it was another instance of them framing Danny as this big, intimidating dude when he rolls up on his, like, bike from, like, the 1990s.
Dude, I called it that Danny was someone who cycles. That's how you know, because they don't call it biking, they call it cycling. Like, like they're in Tron or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and it's, like, you know it's bad when, like, everyone in the shore house is against you. You know what I mean? Like, you know it's bad, because it's not like these are the most, like, hardworking, like, type of people or whatever. Not to say that they're lazy, but that's not really what they're there for. For somebody like Snooki, who, like, drinks on the job to be like, you messed up, like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. And it's really just a testament to, like, I don't know. I feel like what you really learn in the show is, like, the importance of, like, an apology and, like, owning up to your actions.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, I feel like everyone on the show has done at least one thing that's been really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as they apologize, everyone's cool again.
Yeah, exactly.
But Angelina can never apologize because she can never admit that she's wrong.
Exactly. And it's just, like, it's this, like, just this narcissism of, like, I control the world around me, everything revolves around me, so she's just like, oh, you know, I don't want to go into work, and I don't care that, like, it's inconveniencing Vinny, so I'm just not gonna go.
Yeah, because everyone should just get it, without her actually communicating with anyone.
Exactly. It's just total... It's bad behavior. So I definitely think Angelina leaves a strong impression, but she's not actually there for that long. She's there for like 2.5 episodes, and then part of season 2.
Yeah, but you see her in the opening. I always thought that was really funny. She's,
hello!
Every episode.
Even though I don't like Angelina, I do like that one clip of her saying, hello!
They're taking their underwear off in the hot tub.
In the jacuzzi!
Also when they were having their last family dinner and Angelina was leaving and she was trying to, like, pick on Mike and, like, make it seem like, oh, like, we were such good friends, like, it's such a shame that you're leaving, or, like, please stay, like, I'm sure we can figure it out, but she's just like, oh, like, bye, I guess I have to go now, I'll see you later, bye, I'm leaving now, I'm actually leaving now, and everyone's like,
okay, bye. I know, and it reminds me because she's trying to, like, buddy up with Mike by, like, insulting him and saying, like, why do you have a gray hair? And, like...
It just comes off as really mean.
It comes off as really mean, exactly. Like, I... You know, obviously, like, with my friends, like, you can... Like, just in my personal life, you can joke around with friends. Like, you know, my best friend is, like, I think she's, like, 5'2" or something, and I call her short all the time, or whatever. But, like, I hate it when it's people you don't know that well, and they try to joke around with you by, like, insulting you. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had that, but that always grinds my gears, because it's, like, you don't know me like that. Like, you don't, like... It's not, like, saying, like, oh, I can't take a joke. Well, I can't, but, like, I'm just, like, I met you, like, 3 minutes ago. Why are you calling me stupid? Why are you whatever?
Yeah.
Like...
Like, the way she said it, too. She was just like, why do you have a gray hair there? Like, what is that doing there? Like, what is that? And everyone's like,
And it's not even, like, a joke. She's just pointing something out that most people wouldn't really be proud of. Like...
Yeah. Because Mike is old.
I know. And it's you can really tell in the later seasons. You can't tell so much in this season, you know, because he's still looking good. Like, and he's still looking fit, but...
He's also very immature.
Yeah.
So you think that he's younger.
Exactly. Like, when I found... He's, like, 27?
28.
28, 27?
Yeah,
it's even more shocking with Polly that he's, like, 29 in the first season.
Yeah. But at least he's, like, chill.
At least he's not... Yeah, at least he doesn't suck. Not to say that Mike sucks. Again, Mike, if you want to come on the pod... I know. You told me the other day, you were like, oh, what if one of them listens to it and they get mad at us and they don't want to come on the show? And I was like... What if I happen to be in New Jersey and I turn around, there's a voice, someone's calling after me, and they're like, hey, lady, come over here, and I turn around, and it's Mike, and he would absolutely, like...
Gonna beat the gabagool out of you.
Punch my teeth out. Yeah, I mean...
But yeah, it was a really long time ago, and everyone was intoxicated the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think... it really seems like everyone's gotten their lives together by this point.
Yeah. I think Mike is married.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and honestly, even like Angelina, like all these people, like I don't know them personally.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing you can hope for someone is that they grow.
Exactly. And like, I think being on a reality TV show is like such a good... Like, it's a weird opportunity for self-growth because it's like all of your behaviors are shown to you.
Yeah.
Like, it's, this is a small example of it, but, like, when we started first recording the podcast and I was, like, listening to it back, I was like, oh my god, I interrupt you all the time. Like, I didn't realize I did that. And it's, like, sometimes, like, you're just not aware of, like, those little annoying habits you have until they're, like, recorded and presented to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I think,
totally.
like, a reality TV show is just, like, a larger scale example of that.
Yeah. Yeah, like, my dudes, if you're listening...
Oh, come on.
I hope
Vinny!
Vinny? Vinny, you are welcome anytime.
Vinny, you are welcome anytime. You can have dinner at our house. You can meet my mom.
Your mom can come.
Your mom can come. Uncle Nino can come.
Uncle Nino!
Anyone else, we'll do it, like, over Skype. But Vinny, you are welcome in our house anytime. Anyway. What was my point? Self-improvement?
Yeah, like, I hope I'm not coming off as, like, malicious when I say it's more just, like, it's the actions that, like, are negatively impacting other people,
mm-hmm.
like, they should be addressed.
Exactly.
Like, because everyone deserves kindness in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that one of them, I think it was Polly, he was using a cologne called Body Heat. It reminds me of when I had a French exchange student and, like, I wanted to, like, have an exchange student, but I, like, underestimated how, like, awkward it was, like, I am. So he was, like, living in our house, but I, like, wouldn't talk to him because, like, I didn't know what to say, because I think they just gave, like, I didn't really fill out, like, the preferences form or whatever, so they just gave me somebody that I ended up, like, not really having anything in common with. But anyway, I remember he had, like a wash or, like, something, like, in the bathroom, and I think it was called, like, oh, God, it's gonna bug me, but I had some name where I was just like, ew, it was, like,
Ron juice?
It was, like, sexy. Yeah, that was it. It was, like, like, because it was a French bottle, but it was in English, but it was, like, in Fringlish, like, it was, like, sexy hormone, like, I don't know what it was called, but I remember it was bright orange, too.
Oh, no.
And I remember, like, that being in my bathroom and me just, like, glaring at it, like, I don't want to look at that.
What did it smell like?
Sexy hormone.
Oh, no.
Or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. No, but I don't know. So that's what that reminded me of. And, you know, I will cop to it. It was my fault I invited this person to my house and then I just didn't want to talk to him. So, you know, sorry if you're listening.
I also wonder if we have anything like that, because I feel like sometimes, like, we have things that are in, like, fake French to make it sound more, like, exotic. So, I wonder if, like, we have anything in America that's, like, cringy in other languages.
I feel, yeah.
Or, like, I don't know, there's that whole thing where, like, in, like, 2000, there was that phase where people, like, Angelina Jolie were getting, like, tattoos of, like, Chinese characters all the time.
Yeah, and then they're, like...
And didn't Joey Salad get... He got, like, something that meant, like, I like yogurt or something.
I haven't heard of that. I remember there was, like, there's some TikTok girl, and I don't know the details of this, so, like, I'm sorry if this isn't accurate, but there's some TikTok girl where she, like, got a symbol tattooed, and she thought it was, like, something like Japanese or Chinese, but then it turned out to be like a white supremacist thing.
Yeah, I remember, because they were trying to make it a thing. They were like, yeah, like, if you're in the TikTok community, you should get this tattoo, so, like, everybody knows that we're part of this community together.
What?
Yeah, I think that was part of it. So she was trying to get other people to get the tattoo.
No.
Yeah.
That's... Yeah. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Compared to Pauly D's, like, Cadillac Italian flag, you know, you could do much worse.
And that's, like, the problem with, like, 16-year-olds being famous, because, like, I know she did not mean it, but it's,
I think that girl is an adult.
Oh,
Let me
really?
look up. Hold up. I hate that I, like, live a life and I am around enough high schoolers every day where okay, she's 23. Anyway, I hate that I am around enough high schoolers that I know who Dixie D'Amelio is. I hate that I know who Noah Beck is.
It's just because, like, I keep in contact with, like, 2 people over Snapchat, so that's the only reason I have the app. And then, like, if I'm really bored, I'll swipe over to that, like, section, and then, like, all of the news just have to do with, like, TikTokers now. Like, it used to be, like, Cosmo, like, what's Ben Affleck doing? But now it's like, oh, Addison Rae has a new dance where her butt looks really big. And that's news.
You know, sorry, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But, like, I know it's a joke that, like, people don't like Ben Affleck. I don't get that. I like Ben Affleck.
I think it's just because of Gone Girl.
Because of Gone Girl? But that was the point.
I think he did. It's a thing. It's the Timothée Chalamet effect for me, honestly, because, like, I watched Lady Bird first. I didn't see Call Me by Your Name first. So I saw Lady Bird, where he was a total jerk to her.
Yeah.
And so now, whenever I see him in anything else, I'm like, he is a jerk. He is a little, like, piss baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get why it's like, oh, we like Matt Damon, but not Ben Affleck. He's the bad one.
I feel like of the 2, I like Ben Affleck more.
I like Ben Affleck more. Like, Matt Damon, he's so boring, and I don't like the Jason Bourne movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like people, and I think Ben Affleck chooses better, like, creative projects. Like, the movie he was in this year was good. The basketball movie.
I feel like he's also kind of built like an anime character.
I like Argo.
You watch Argo, I watch Fargo. We are not the same.
Yeah. Oh, there's, one of my favorite lines from the whole series is in this episode. So, this episode ends on a cliffhanger with Sammy leaving the club because she saw... Okay, let me just explain this whole thing was so stupid. So, it's... Sammy sees Ronnie dancing with a girl.
Well, it starts where Vinny grabs Ronnie because he wants Ronnie to dance with the boys. And then Sammy's like, wow, Ronnie is nowhere to be found. Guess I'll go talk to my cop friend and flirt with him because I just flirt with people when I'm drunk.
So...
Then she sees Ronnie dancing with a girl. Then she gives the cop her number. Then Jenny sees that and tells Ronnie.
So then Ronnie leaves the club, and JWoww is, like, doesn't want Ron to be upset, because we've established that they're, you know, good friends, which I think is cute.
Yeah.
So he leaves, and she goes after him. Sammy sees JWoww leave with Ron, and she's thinking that they're up to no good, so she leaves the club and she says, quote, like, I want to knock a beep.
I'll knock a bitch up. We just gotta get a beep. And then we can say whatever we want.
Yeah, she says, I feel like I'm gonna knock a bitch up, which is like, you're gonna get Jenny pregnant? Like,
trying to think if I had any other funny things. Oh, the way that Ron gets mad and then walks home, takes off his shirt. It had really similar energy to the Greatest Freak Out Ever video, where he's really mad that his mom canceled his World of Warcraft account, so he just takes off all his clothes.
Yeah, because it's edited for, like, in one shot. They don't show him taking off the shirt. Yeah, because it's the thing in Greatest Freak Out Ever.
He goes into the closet to undress. He goes into the closet with clothes on. He comes out of the closet with no clothes on.
I haven't seen Greatest Freak Out.
There's also a part where he goes under the covers on his bed and takes some clothes off, I think. He also, like, does some weird stuff with a TV remote. If I remember correctly.
I haven't seen Greatest Freak Out Ever in, like, a while. That's, like, early internet.
I started to show it to someone and forgot about the remote control stuff, and I was like, oh, never mind. Oh, no, the video's not loading. I have to put it away now.
It's like when I started Little Miss Sunshine with Mom and Dad.
Oh,
no. Yeah. So I think this was a pretty uneventful episode.
Yeah.
Overall.
Oh, the only other thing was, like, do they have renter's insurance? Because there was the whole thing where Polly put charcoal in a gas grill. So then when Mike lit it, the grill just started to, like, burst into flames. And I saw some of the flames, like, licking up on the side of the house, like, with the tiling. And I'm like, oh, like, that's probably going to have to get replaced. Because, like, are they going to sue them? Or do they need a subrogator?
Well, because they're not paying rent, right?
Yeah,
so
I'm just wondering who would be legally responsible for that. But, like, I feel like they have to be his, like, lessees. Like, they're like the reason you have a lease is so that you have some responsibility to not completely destroy the house.
I wonder if
so you need to make people sign a lease if you're gonna have someone. I feel
like it would probably be MTV would be culpable then. Yeah. Not the Guidos and Guidettes.
Yeah.
So tune in next week. You gotta watch season 1, episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Knock a bitch up.